Making headlines this hour, Fenaka celebrates the success of the project initiated to guarantee 24-hour electricity services to all inhabited islands. PPM assures the coalition agreement with MDA is still in effect. And PPM decides to remove parliamentarian Ali Fazad from the party.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome you all to PSM News. I'm Zunat Hassan. Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure opens Sinamale Bridge for public transportation. Upon opening the bridge for traffic, thousands of people traveled to Hulumale through Hulule via the bridge. While Sinamale Bridge now open for traffic, Male Ring Road connected to the bridge has also been opened for public. The bridge was officially inaugurated on August 30th. The Sinamale Bridge project is one of the electoral pledges of President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom. Since assuming office, the President attached a huge importance to completing the project. The 1.39-kilometer long bridge have 4 lanes with separate lanes for pedestrians. The Male Ring Road mirrors the lanes on the Sinamale Bridge. Fenaka Corporation Limited celebrates the success of the project initiated by the government to guarantee 24-hour electricity services to all inhabited islands. The ceremony was attended by the First Lady Fatmat Ibrahim as the chief guest, who has accompanied by cabinet ministers, parliamentarians and government officials. While Fenaka celebrates the success of the project to guarantee 24-hour electricity services to all inhabited islands, prior to 5 years electricity was available to some islands for only 8 or 12 hours. Under the project initiated by the President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom, electricity was made available sustainably. In this regard, during the past 5 years, 77 generators were provided to islands. The government commenced projects to upgrade the powerhouses in islands with the latest facilities. Electricity being a daily necessity, the government exerted major efforts to ensure the need to every citizen. In this regard, government initiated renewable power project, which now can generate about 9 megawatts of energy. Moreover, during the ceremony, the First Lady officially commenced handing over the 35 electric generators provided by the government of China to the islands. Parliamentary Group Leader of Progressive Party of Maldives, PPM, Ahmad Nihan Hussein Manik, assures the coalition agreement with Maldivian Development Alliance, MDA, is still in effect. Responding to rumors spread on social media stating the contract agreement between PPM and MDA has been abolished or expired, Ahmad Nihan assured the party council has not decided to nullify the coalition agreement, adding discussions were held by the deputy leader of PPM, Musa Zamir, and acting leader of MDA, Ali Maroof. PPM-MDA coalition was formed for the 2013 presidential election. After that, the coalition has successfully won majority seats in the 2014 general elections. PPM and MDA also competed in 2017 local council elections as a coalition. Disciplinary Committee of Progressive Party of Maldives, PPM, decides to remove parliamentarian Ali Fazad from the party. Following the decision, the seat represented by Ali Fazad will become vacant. Ali Fazad lost his parliament seat under the anti-defection law passed by the government. The anti-defection bill states that if lawmakers defect or are expelled from the political party they were registered at the time of election, they will automatically lose their seat in the parliament. According to the parliamentary group leader of PPM, Ahmad Nihan Hussein Manik, when Fazad violated the rules and regulations, he was reminded of the rules and regulations of the party. However, Fazad did not respond to any of the advice and continued to attend the political activities of the opposition. Attorney General of Maldives, Mohammed Anil, states challenges were faced in the smooth operations of the administration due to certain obstacles within the legal system, which can only be solved by incorporating the true grounds of a presidential system in the constitution of the country. Speaking on a panel discussion titled My Nation, My Future, aired on PSM News, Attorney General Mohammed Anil said the legal system has changed after the passing of the Constitution in 2008. Noting a vote was cast to decide whether a presidential or constitutional system must be followed in implementing the Constitution, Anil said even though a presidential system is in practice in Maldives, the characters of a constitutional system was also incorporated into the system. Highlighting the Constitution was then formed in favor of an individual, the Attorney General noted key factors of a presidential system were not included in the Constitution. Continuing on, the Attorney General revealed major efforts are carried out by the government to reform the legal system to address major concerns. In this regard, Anil said it is crucial to eliminate the political differences in the parliament and to work to formulate a beneficial legal system for the country. He said it is not impossible to amend the constitution, adding 2 changes were brought to the constitution in 2015 with the support of opposition parliamentarians. The government of Maldives takes note with concern the statement issued by the United States Department of State on 6th of September 2018. The government of Maldives views this statement on the eve of the presidential elections as an act of intimidation, imposing undue influence on the democratic process of a sovereign state. The government of Maldives reiterates its commitment to hold free, fair and credible elections and has been working closely with the Elections Commission and all other relevant stakeholders to achieve this objective. The 2 competing candidates in the elections are actively campaigning and hosting rallies across the country in the democratic and conducive environment on a level playing fields for both candidates. The Elections Commission of the Maldives has been very transparent about the elections process and has been engaging with the public and the political parties to ensure that their concerns are well addressed. The Elections Commission has also invited a number of international observers to monitor this year's presidential elections. The government said it recognizes the keen interest of some of its international partners, including the United States of America, in the political developments in the country and their efforts to help consolidate democracy in the Maldives. However, such interests, if pursued through intimidation and unnecessary threats of coercive actions, is such a highly contested election, especially just few weeks before the election date, would not be in the best interest of the Maldivian people. Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL reveals only permit holders will be allowed to enter certain areas of Hulule despite opening of Sinamale Bridge for public transportation. The bridge connects the capital Male city with Hulule, where Velana International Airport VIA is located. A link road further connects Hulule with Hulumale. Ensuring certain areas in Hulule are restricted to the public, MACL said only permit holders will be allowed to those areas and has now announced entrance fees and rates for parking of vehicles traveling across the bridge. Furthermore, MACL has marked 4 entrances and exits for public and private vehicles entering Hulule from the bridge, including an area for vehicle parking, an area for private and public vehicle carrying passengers to the airport, another area for private and public vehicles picking passengers from the airport, and an area for public transport vehicles to pick passengers from the airport. MACL also highlighted parking in these areas will not be allowed. MACL has established a check post to collect entrance and parking fees. Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure opens Male Ring Road for the public transportation. The Housing Ministry revealed some changes will be brought to the traffic flow for the road network connecting to the ring road. The ministry urged the public to follow the traffic regulations in the area. According to the ministry, 450 trees will be planted in the area as part of the ring road development project. The development of Malé Ring Road with the latest facilities commenced earlier this month. The ring road is developed with 4 lanes mirroring the lanes on Sidamale Bridge. The project is one of the crucial projects initiated by the government to ease transportation and to minimize traffic jamming in Malé city with the inauguration of the Sidamale Bridge. Meanwhile, with the completion of the ring road, Housing Ministry will be opening Sidamale Bridge for traffic. Housing Ministry has opened Sidamale Bridge this evening. Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure begins maintenance of the government flats in capital city Malé and Vili Malé. Speaking with PSM News, media consultant Ahmad Fazal said Housing Ministry has begun maintenance of the flats, which will be followed by installation of security systems. Ahmad Fazal revealed a special office will be built to ensure security in 1850 security cameras will be installed to monitor the flats in Malé and Vili Malé. Moreover, Fazal expressed paint in the buildings will take up to 3 weeks and said the lifts will also be repaired as part of the maintenance of the flats. Maintenance of Sidamale, Malehia and Vili Malé flats were handed over to Housing Ministry following poor maintenance of flats by Malé City Council. According to Housing Ministry, the conditions were very poor when the ministry took over the flats. In this regard, the ministry said there were no waste management facilities and the tenants faced water leakage issues, among others. Despite the numerous complaints, the City Council failed to maintain the flats properly. The government of Maldives contracts Malé Water and Sewerage Company Private Limited MWSC to establish water supply facilities in Rasdu in Alif Alif Atoll and sewerage facilities in Toddu in Alif Alif Atoll. The agreement was signed by Minister of Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim and Managing Director of MWSC Fazul Rashid. The establishment of water supply facilities in Rasdu will cost over $1.8 million and the project will be funded from the state budget. As part of the project, which should be completed within a period of 1 year, MWSC will establish a reverse osmosis plant in Rasdu. Meanwhile, as part of the agreement to establish sewerage facilities in Toddu, MWSC will be conducting surveying and designing of the project. Speaking at the ceremony, the Environment Minister said the 2 projects are conducted as part of the efforts of the government to establish safe water and sewerage facilities in all inhabited islands. The minister urged for the cooperation of public and council for the projects, aiding the projects will benefit the community. Meanwhile, Managing Director Fazul Rashid said MWSC has previously concluded projects successfully, noting both projects will be conducted under the Corporate Social Responsibility CSR policy of the company. The government has established sewerage facilities in 89 islands in the past 4 years. Cityscape Awards shortlist Surmale Development Project for the 15th Annual Cityscape Awards for Emerging Markets. Cityscape Awards 2018 seeks to promote excellence in architectural design, education by awarding the best university projects in architecture and urban design. The awards will celebrate excellence in the real estate development and architecture. Covering a range of categories, the awards offer international architects and leading real estate developers a platform to collaborate and share their vision of the future, from culturally integrated cities skylines to sustainable urban communities. The winners' announcement will take place on October 2nd at the Intercontinental Dubai Festival City. Surmale Development Project was shortlisted in the Master Plan Project Award category. A total of 5 projects were shortlisted in the category, with 1 from Maldives and the rest from UAE. Buyers and sellers of Chinese antique and artworks are worried as the trade frictions between China and the US has also affected the art market.
September is peak season for art auctions, but this year the threat of tariffs is drawing a real concern. For example, for a 900-year-old Chinese porcelain whose hammer price is $38 million, buyers may have to pay more. The US has proposed duties as high as 25% on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. On the last page of the targeted list are Chinese paintings and drawings, original sculptures and antiques more than 100 years old, which means Chinese art coming from anywhere in the world to the US could face extra duties. One of the world's largest brokers of art, Sotheby's, has stated its opposition. CEO of Sotheby's Asia, Kevin Ching, said Sotheby's, as a matter of principle, opposes any measures that restrict the free flow of art in the market. In response to the Trump administration's policies, dozens of US companies, including art companies, voiced their concern during 6 days of public hearings. The decision left museums, collectors, curators and dealers up in arms.
This would actually change the decision of the dealers in the United States who might decide that, oh, because of the tariff, well, why should we sell in America? You know, we'll sell elsewhere. They might consign the goods to Paris, to London and to Hong Kong. Now, that would actually damage the U.S. market.
Last year, $7.1 billion worth of Chinese art and antiques were sold at auctions across the world, and $408 million came from the US. Some said the tariffs on Chinese art will only be a drop in the bucket. But for China's rising avant-garde artists, the tariffs could be limiting. Meanwhile, co-founder and CEO of L Asia Limited, Paul Dong, said for Chinese artists, America remains the destination for them to climb on higher startup on their career, but the increase on the tax will absolutely affect their plans.
Individually, for each Chinese avant-garde artist in their middle age or younger artists, they still tend to look to New York City, Los Angeles, some of the American cities to promote themselves and publicize and also marketize their concepts and their artworks. And this increase in the tax will absolutely affect their plans.
Details on how the tariffs will work are fuzzy. With the peak season for auctions coming, many buyers eyeing Chinese paintings and antiques may have second thoughts.
The International Criminal Court (ICC) rules it has jurisdictions over alleged deportations of Rohingya people from Myanmar to Bangladesh as a possible crime against humanity.
The decision at the Hague-based court paves the way for prosecutor Fatou Bensouda to further examine whether there is sufficient evidence to file charges in the case, although she has not done so yet. Myanmar is not a member of the Hague-based court, but Bangladesh is, and the cross-border nature of deportation was sufficient to establish jurisdiction.
It decided that the court could exercise jurisdiction on the alleged deportation of the Rohingya from Myanmar to Bangladesh as at least one element of the crime of deportation, which is the crossing of the border to Bangladesh, took place in the territory of Bangladesh.
An independent United Nations fact-finding mission in August concluded that Myanmar's military last year carried out mass killings and gang rapes of Muslim Rohingya with genocidal intent, ruling the commander-in-chief and 5 generals should be prosecuted for orchestrating the gravest crimes under law. About 700,000 Rohingya fled the crackdown and most are now living in refugee camps in Bangladesh. Myanmar has denied committing atrocities against the Rohingya, saying its military carried out justifiable actions against militants. It has so far signaled it does not intend to cooperate with the International Court.
In sports, world champions France never hit top form and had third-choice keeper Alphonse Areola to thank for a 0-0 draw against Germany in their inaugural Nations League game. their first appearance since lifting the World Cup.
On a rainy night, Germany won back some respect with a battling performance after their shock World Cup group stage exit in Russia, their earliest in 80 years in the tournament. Manager Joachim Löw breathed a sigh of relief, knowing a slip-up against France would only have piled on more pressure. The French looked to be nursing a post-World Cup hangover, lacking their usual speed and creativity, but for the Alphonse Areola's key saves in the second half, the final scoreline would have been different in the Ligue A Group 1 game. But France coach Didier Deschamps said it was still a good result and that the team were not yet back to peak fitness after the World Cup. The Nations League, brainchild of European football governing body UEFA, aims to boost interest in internationals, which are seen by clubs and fans as disruptive to the domestic football season. To be held every 2 years, it features all 55 of Europe's national teams divided into 4 divisions, split into 4 groups, with games to be played between September and November.
The Motion Picture Academy says Star Wars producers Kathleen Kennedy and veteran actress Cicely Tyson will receive honorary awards this year, recognizing their lifetime achievements in the movie industry. Let's have a look.
Kathleen Kennedy, who will be honored with her producer husband Frank Marshall, will be the first woman to receive the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award that is given to film producers annually for their body of work. Kennedy and Marshall co-founded Amblin Entertainment with director Steven Spielberg in 1981, producing box office hits that went on to become movie favorites including E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, and The Color Purple. In 2012, Kennedy became president of Lucasfilm, reviving the Star Wars space saga and producing new hits Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and Rogue One, a Star Wars story. New York-born Tyson is one of the most respected African-American actresses in show business, appearing in films, plays, and television, including recent roles in The Help and The Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Tyson will be awarded an honorary Oscar. Argentinian musician Lalo Schifrin, the composer of movie scores like Dirty Harry, will also receive an honorary Oscar for lifetime achievement along with publicist Marvin Levy, who has worked with Spielberg for more than 40 years. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, which organizes the annual Oscars, said in a statement, the honorary awards would be presented at a gala dinner in Los Angeles in November.
With that, we conclude the news for this bulletin. Thanks for joining us and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.